Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Spiritually Fucked podcast. I am your host, Taylor Mulholland. Let's get into the show. It was not Love Island, okay? I promise it was not Love Island. I would never apply for a dating reality show because my soul daddy is not on a reality show. He is at work. He will be working. And I actually made a reel of this, and it was really funny, and I was really excited to share it. And then I was watching it and I'm like, oh, so all the documents say confidential on them. And I'm like, I don't know if I can share this publicly on the internet because I did like a green screen and I was showing you everything on it of my background check. But anyways, I got casted on a reality show, and it was a show. It was not a dating show. It was a show where I would be hired for a job that I kind of already do and I'm really, really, really good at, and I would have killed it. And it's their loss. Yeah, so through the process, not that I put all my eggs in the basket, I put maybe like half a dozen eggs in this basket because I was like, this is a really great opportunity for me. I really needed a job. I would have been in Europe working on salary for like 6 weeks, and it would have been really cool. So I went through the whole interview process, and then the last step was the background check and then booking my flight to LA to go like in-person interview for like the last one. So I went through the entire casting process, and then they were like, okay, keep your dates open. And so I kept my dates open, and I even like said no to a few jobs in that time because I'm like keeping my dates open because like 6 dozen eggs are in this basket, and I'm like pretty sure I'm going on this. And I haven't heard anything from them. And then 3 days before the day I was like supposed to fly out, I get an email and it's my background check. And it's 55 pages. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not getting casted. And let me remind you, this is after I cleaned up my page, because when I did pageants in 2018 or something, I cleaned up my page to what I thought was pretty good. And man, high school Taylor, ruthless. Twitter Taylor, ruthless. Current day Taylor, still pretty ruthless, but not as controversial as my past selves were. So when I first did my cleanup on IELTS Taylor's social media presence in before I did the pageants, I mean, you guys, I was posting photos of me holding giant bongs. I was holding Bongzilla on my Instagram in high school. I had pictures of me doing keg stands. I had pictures of me like in my underwear. I said probably a lot of controversial things. And this is my public Instagram. And I was just freaking reckless and ruthless. And it was funny. It was really funny, but I cleaned myself up. And then there was Twitter Taylor, who just bullied everyone and called everyone out and was just a mean girl. And I cleaned that up. And then, what is it? I don't know, 7 years later, I get a background check, and there were a lot of things that they still didn't like. So I'm going to go through it with you because the people are dying to know. So, okay, I'm obviously like a perfect little angel when it comes to like law things. Like, obviously I'm perfect. Like no DUIs, no drinking underage, whatever that one was. DIA, I don't know, drinking in adolescence. I don't know. So, but the first thing that came up was my Instagram. And like obviously like this perfect little girl, she's beautiful. She's like, oh, like a poet. Her bio says internet muppet. Like there's nothing wrong with her. And then my poetry Instagram got flagged like in like a not a good way. And then my most shameful Instagram was the tie-dye Instagram I created during the shutdown. During Corona lockdowns, I decided to start a tie-dye business because everyone was doing tie-dye and I was one of them. And I sold no sweaters. And that was my most shameful one. So that got flagged. It was a nice reminder. And then I actually had two accounts that I had no idea existed, but they were not me being an account for them, but two other people were screenshotting my photos and posting them as me. So I guess like, I was already kind of famous because I had like fan accounts. So that was weird. And then they found my Finsta. You guys, thank God that thing was private. I should probably delete that because the Finsta is, no one should be going down that. And then Facebook came up, and then they were like, due to privacy settings on Facebook, we cannot determine if all content on this profile was available for review. And that's probably better. That was probably best. And then they found Twitter. A lot of my tweets got flagged, and we won't go into those that got flagged. And then again, someone's fake account that tried to be me on Twitter was flagged. Then we go to my TikTok. And to be completely honest, I would flag every single one of those videos because they are just embarrassing, okay? They're bad. And I think anyone who went through the corona lockdown, shutdowns, whatever, has the same bad TikTok reputation. I mean, those times where we were going crazy, you guys, and my TikTok was one of them. So pretty much all those got flagged. And then my poetry TikTok, it's like, I'm just a beautiful girl holding a poetry book. Like, there's nothing bad about that. And then my YouTube, I mean, I've had everything, you guys. My YouTube videos. And then I had a Twitch, which I didn't even know I had. And then Pinterest got flagged, and then my Poshmark got flagged. And I'm like, hey, can you guys like promote that? Because I'm trying to sell, like, I'm trying to sell these clothes. No one, literally, if you have a Poshmark, does anyone have success on that thing? I don't think so. And then they found my Depop, and then all the Google reviews I've ever written, they found. And I'm just like enamored by their researching and also my Google reviews. And then it goes into Visco. They found my Visco. And again, it just had photos of me being a little girl. And then they found my Vimeo, and they found all my SoundClouds because I have multiple SoundClouds because I'm like a musician. And then they found my Tumblr, and they found my Substack. And I'm like, can you guys please subscribe? And then they found me on Snapchat. Thank God they didn't bring any old Snapchats up. And so that's everything they found of like who I am on the internet. And then this is what they flagged. So they flagged anything I ever shared or mentioned about the vaccine and how my dad may or may not passed away from that thing. And they brought up my stories. Like, I don't know how they went back in time and found my stories of me talking about that. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I educated them. And so I was just like, I'm not mad at it. I just kind of like sketched out by it. Like, you think they're just there for 24 hours and they're not. Oh, and then they flagged my friend does spray tans with CBD in them, and they flagged that. I'm like, how woke are you guys where I can't talk about CBD? And then I have a highlight of me on the trapeze, and I labeled it Trap Queen, and that was flagged. And then this is the stupidest thing ever. I posted like CBD honey, again flagged. And then I posted Moon Juice, the adaptogen brand that sells herbs and mushroom powders. I posted their sex dust, and that got flagged. And that just, I'm like, are you kidding me? You literally can't say shit. Oh, and then they flagged this. I was talking about how antibiotics while on birth control decreases your effectiveness on birth control, and that was flagged. And then I posted this. Medicine's a funny business after all. Dispensing chemicals and is considered mainstream, and diet and nutrition is considered an alternative. And they flagged that like I'm not allowed to say that. And I'm just like, what is going on? And then they flagged anything I said about Kim and Nami's Well Fucked Woman Salon because clearly they don't like healing. They don't want you to heal your body from ancestral trauma or a disconnection from your womb. They just said, nope, you're not allowed to talk about that or have that on your profile. And then this is where it gets funny. They flagged all of my reels where I ever mentioned ayahuasca. And I'm like, that is all of them because it's like one of the reigning jokes in my silly reels. So, and I want to preface this. I should have prefaced this. I could have deleted all this, but I chose not to because deleting the person who I've spent so hard to try to become and like be authentic, to delete all that just to go on a show would be literally stupid. I could have, but I chose not to. But they tagged all my, they literally put this video contains Mulholland stating ayahuasca. You know, they actually call it ayahuasca in Peru. It didn't solve any of my problems. It just made me highly aware of them. I don't know which is worse. And I'm like, they had to flag that because that was so bad. I was such a bad girl. They tagged a photo where I said hashtag drug spots and mug shots. It's a photo of me just sitting being pretty. They flagged another video and it says, this video contains Mulholland stating, I've done a lot of healing in this life for you ancestrally. There has been ayahuasca, combo, and I think every breathwork session. And later, how many times do I have to work on abandonment issues for us? And adds, I've even burned sacred frog medicine to my belly to heal our womb. Our womb. They flagged that because, again, I'm like not allowed to talk about my healing on the internet. That's woke Hollywood, you guys. You're not allowed to talk about your healing or things that work other than medicine that comes from CVS. You're only allowed to talk about things they want you to talk about, and you're not allowed to talk about your healing or any plant medicines. And then I wish I could show you guys. When I was in Barcelona, I posted a reel. You can go look at it, and the cover photo is cum dump because I was at like one of those sex stores, and they had a fan that said cum dump, and it just is funny. And then this other photo of me at Boise Music Festival where I'm pointing a sign into my shorts and it says cool shit, and it's a really silly photo, and you can go look at it. And then this is good. They flagged that I'm in a cult because I posted all my Joe Dispenza stuff because I said, call it a cult. I don't care. I want to be a part of it and be the head cheerleader. And I was talking about Joe Dispenza. But they didn't like that, so it got flagged. And then they flagged the reel I made when I was at Joe Dispenza. When you have to buy new pants because you had an arousal at Joe Dispenza, they didn't like that either. And then they flagged a photo of me pointing a gun at my own face, like, and the caption was, when you find out who's causing all your problems. Which, again, like, I think is funny. Like, if you look at this photo, it's a funny photo. But they didn't like it. And then when I broke my hand, I have a video of me explaining my hand injury, and the caption was victim survivor, and they didn't like that. And it says, this video contains Mulholland stating, my head was already pretty severely traumatized before the injury, so that wasn't affected at all. And I'm like, that's funny. But because it makes me seem a little crazy, they didn't like that. And then I wrote a really beautiful post about me, like apologizing to everyone I've ever been mean to, and it sounds like really like stupid when I say it like that, but it's actually like a beautiful, I guess you could say, like a poetry in prose, and how everything is just a reflection. So if we were mean to someone, we were just being mean to ourselves, and we were reflecting it towards whoever was around us. And I was just stating that, like, this is what I've been learning, and I feel so bad for everyone who I've ever been mean to. It was just a reflection of how mad I was at myself. Like, I have so much shame for myself, and that's why I probably was shaming you. And they flagged that. And I don't even know why they flagged that, but I guess because I mentioned, like, I'm so sorry, like, I was sad in the past, and I'm sorry that if I made you sad because I was sad. And then they they flagged my reel with the caption, "Does MDMA one time," which is literally the reigning joke in my life right now. Like, does something one time. If only they knew how much I've done it. And then they tagged all my combo stuff, which again, I just think is so sad because if you know me, you know, like, I'm obsessed with combo and how much of a gift it's been in my life because of how much healing I've had from it. And I share it a lot on my Instagram because solely because it's been so much help. And I want to help people by sharing my story. And they flagged everything I ever mentioned about it. And I'm like, wow, that's fucking sad. But because it's a plant medicine, it's weird. They saw that I followed some medicine shops that sell combo, and they didn't like that either. And then they tagged a lot of my poems, which made me like, I was laughing through this whole thing, and then when I saw they tagged my actual poems, that's when I was like, all right, this is fucking stupid. This is ridiculous because poems, poetry, it's all art. It's all figurative. And the poems that they did flag were ones that said like ecstasy, because it's like, I mean, you read any poem and it's like, oh, ecstasy. Like, it's just a figurative metaphor you use for a feeling, and they flagged all of the ones that said that, which I think was like a few, but I'm just like, are you kidding me? And they tagged some that said fuck in it, and I'm like, you guys suck. You guys are literally flagging art because it doesn't hold up to your standards. Oh, they flagged this, which I thought was so weird. If we want to escape, it's easy to say, just remove the feelings of sadness and happiness is at bay. And I'm like, what's wrong with that? And then they flagged a photo of me holding the fake cigarette. I'm like, are you kidding me? It's fake. They saw that I was following all these like ayahuasca healing retreats. They didn't like that. Oh, this is the funniest one. I think they're all kind of funny, but this one is so funny. I reposted a tweet from Donald Trump in 2020 that says, I won the election, when he clearly did not win the election. And that's why it's so funny. Oh, okay, no, this is the funniest one. They flagged a picture of Pizza Rat that I posted. Like, okay, I went through a phase when I was obsessed with Pizza Rat, and they flagged Pizza Rat. Like, are you, like, what is controversial about Pizza Rat? And then they didn't like that I was following Soltara, where I went and drank ayahuasca in Costa Rica. They didn't like that I was following an account that led me to my healing. They didn't like that. They didn't like that my TikTok name was Mailer Gang or Die. They didn't like that. I hashtagged Dead Dad Club. What's bad about that? It's the truth. You guys don't like the truth? You need to flag the truth? And then they flagged the comment, good morning to everyone except for the recliner my dad died in. That's the truth. I mean, how can you be mad at the truth? I don't see the problem with that. This video contains Mulholland stating, and if anyone's wondering what's the second hardest part of filming yoga videos, it's that if you hate yourself, everything turns out bad. Again, that's the truth. That's the truth, but they didn't like that. This video contains Mulholland stating, right now it's pretty dry up in the brain, so I gotta go through some trauma before I come back to you. And that comment was made when I was sharing literally everything on TikTok, because that was my form of expression, and I was sharing like what I was going through and how what's helping me, and this one in particular, it was dry up in the brain. So I had to come back to TikTok with some trauma so I could share. They didn't like it. Yeah, we're still going, people, by the way. I had a TikTok in 2020. Hashtag Coronasty. This was when the coronavirus was spreading, and they did not like that. They did not like Hashtag coronasty. Even though it was nasty. But again, they don't like the truth. I TikToked a TikTok with the caption, fucking LSD man, and it's a video of me being a DJ. They didn't like that. Again, they flagged me on the trapeze, and I had the caption, damn everything but the circus. They didn't like that. Okay, this one deserves to be flagged. It's not controversial, it's just really gross. It just should be flagged. The video contains Mulholland stating, "Hey guys, my name is Taylor, and today we're going to wonder if this will fit up my ass." And I'm holding a wine bottle. Okay, again, this is old me. And then my first TikTok ever, it's captioned, "What I've got for quarantine." The video contains Mulholland stating, "All right, I know everyone's wondering what I've got for quarantine, so this is it. Snacks, pre-rolls, edibles, more edibles, CBD, THC, LSD, mushrooms, more snacks, tiny microphone, cat." And at the end of the video, it was my cat Sharon. And again, it was all just a skit. I was just being silly. Oh, and then we get into my YouTube. Mulholland maintains a YouTube channel under the name Elements Flow. The following potentially controversial results were discovered. Representative examples are set forth below. I used to post housekeeping videos of me just doing updates of my life. Frick, good vibes only. Frog poison, it's not March. That was the caption. And it's a video of me saying, "It's not March. No, it's April. And yes, I've been depressed." And I think I said this in the last video. I don't know what's going on. I feel good now because I got my little camera going and a little snack. But shit, man, I've been fucking going through some stuff. Alright, that's just the truth. I can't hide who I am. I promised to give you blogs on YouTube, and there I was, giving you a blog, and if I was depressed, then that's the truth. And then I talk about how I started a therapy called Combo, and if you don't know what it is, maybe you should look it up, because it's going to make me sound crazy, and that's true. If you have ever tried to explain Combo to someone who doesn't know what Combo is, you sound insane. But pretty much it's this frog medicine where you burn holes in your skin, and someone puts frog medicine on you, which is frog venom. It's frog poison. It's a form of that. No frogs were harmed. At least no frogs were harmed. Jesus Christ. Oh, and then once you put it on your holes that are burned open, you start puking. They didn't like that. And then there's a video 17 on my YouTube, which, again, all these videos are still up if you feel the incline to go watch them. The assassination of my ovaries, working in the bottle service industry. And testing? Okay, we're still going. Oh, they flagged that I said I was so self-conscious of myself because I was going through all these issues with my body. And I talked about how I was in menopause, and that was somehow all flagged. I have no idea. Am I not allowed to share that I had menopause at 22? Is that going to start controversy on the internet? I go, "I had these headaches. I was having hot flashes at fucking 8 p.m. at night, every freaking night." It's the truth. And then this is the funniest. Okay, everything's funny to me. I just think I'm funny. And now I'm having like a background check agency fucking background check me. And I'm like, of course it's funny. I posted a video number 12. Plants and a Wednesday night, ... Did you say 5G? This is the video I made after I took 5 grams of mushrooms in my room. And of course it gets flagged because I'm talking about taking mushrooms in my room. But you guys, this video has 5 views and they flagged it for potential controversy. I'm like, those views are from me. If any of these videos had any controversy, no one is watching them. No one's gonna know. And then I had a video number 7, my ass pics and your needs. And it talks about me posting pictures of my ass and how my brothers unfollowed me after that. And they didn't like that I said that. Okay, I didn't like it either. I didn't like that they unfollowed me, but it's the truth. And then they went through my Pinterest and flagged like all the artsy photos of like women that are kind of in risque clothes, I guess, like art. Have you ever seen art before? And a woman's like wearing a swimsuit? Yeah, they'd flag that. And then they found some stuff that like I didn't create or post, and that kind of pissed me off because I'm like, okay, I didn't even post that, but because my name was attached, or like I didn't even know the person, it was just like random accounts, but because they kind of had a similar name to me, they flagged that. That's kind of the end of it, people. Again, the reel was really funny. I have no idea if I'm able to post that. What I learned about myself through this experience is that when this happened, I could have been really upset or ashamed of who I was, and I could have gotten so mad at myself for posting all that or being too silly or making jokes and getting in trouble for it, which I actually have a lot of experiences in the past where I have been too silly in serious conversations and I've gone in quote unquote in trouble for them, or I've gotten suspended from work from them. It used to fester as an insecurity, and then I started to like try to not be funny and whatever. But after this experience, it really showed how much I do love myself and love all the things about myself. And even if a big casting company who could potentially cast me on a show that could change my life or like go on TV and be this star, uh, that they don't like who I am because of those things. And I realized that I didn't give a fuck. Like I was relieved because if they don't want me for who I am or my full self, then I don't want them. And again, I had that option to delete all of that and move forward for the next steps. But I chose not to because, especially when it involves things that have helped me so much in my life, having to delete or erase or never talk about that again absolutely kills me. If I could never talk about combo again or any sort of medicines or tools that have helped me heal and share that, I would be fucking wrecked. My sole mission on this earth would just, like, what's the point? What would I talk about? Like, part of me being on this earth is to share my story and what's helped me so I can maybe inspire others to go on their own little journey or story. And if I could never talk about that again, like that is ridiculous. And I would never trade that in for anything. No amount of money, no amount of fame, nothing. And I didn't really realize how strong I am in that until this happened. And I've been working really fucking hard on myself when it comes to this, because if this experience happened maybe 2 years ago, I probably would have been really mad or upset at myself. But I guess the self-worth work is working. So that's my story, y'all. I was going to be on a show and I was going to be on TV, which of course everyone's like, you'd be perfect on TV. You need to be on a reality show. Like, obviously, I'm unhinged enough to do that. And it would be fun and an experience. And I would get paid money to do exactly what I'm doing, which is being silly, but not in exchange for who I am at a soul level. So that could have been my path, but I chose the authentic Taylor path, which is being authentically unhinged and authentically ruthless. So if you're here and you're with me, just know I'm not going to change. So whenever you come and you show up to me, I'm going to be myself. And I don't care what you think. So if you're with me, that's great. I love you. I adore you. And that's my little story for today. So if you enjoyed it or you laughed, let me know, because it's way funnier talking about this with someone, because I haven't really told anyone this story yet, and I thought what's better than to tell everyone all at once through a podcast. And maybe we'll get the real one day. Maybe if enough people come to me, I will release it. Maybe we'll do something for that. I need to check. I need to check with my lawyer, which I have a lawyer now. So, yeah, I'm going to end it there. But thanks for being here. I really appreciate your support, and I hope you're enjoying the podcast, truly. I'm still learning. I'm still learning how to work this. Always going to be learning about myself. But just know whenever you do come here, I'm going to be authentic and I'm going to be me. So, okay, bye.